Uh, Check it out now. Uh.
Hey everybody, this is Robert Yang, and in my last clip I talked about how important breakfast is, and I gave you 7 reasons why it's so important. So again, you have no excuses. You have one reason for every day of the week to eat breakfast. Now the question becomes, what are the optimal foods? And I would say the first food that you should always try to incorporate in breakfast and emphasize is protein, because your body has no reservoir for protein except for your skeletal muscle mass. So if you skip breakfast, again, your body's going to be using that skeletal muscle mass to convert to glucose through gluconeogenesis to try to stabilize that blood sugar and feed for example, your brain is the utmost priority. So protein is very, very important for that. You got to replace it every single day, and it starts with breakfast. The second reason is that most people don't realize is you can get lots of energy from protein. And the reason why that happens is because with protein, when you eat protein, let's say, for example, you take an egg, and so you have 2 eggs in the morning, you eat that, your body breaks it down to amino acids. Well, once it gets to amino acids, it starts circulating in your blood, and it gets to the brain. And what happens is, for example, with eggs have a high amount of L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine is very, very important for your body to produce dopamine and norepinephrine, epinephrine, that are potent neurotransmitters that actually help you focus and concentrate, give you more energy. So right there, protein is very, very important to do that. Now, the types of proteins that are very, very important are going to be animal proteins. Animal proteins have all the amino acids, all the 8 essential amino acids, cysteine, methionine, that are very, very important for your body to make these neurotransmitters. So it's very important that you get high quality animal proteins, meaning free range organic eggs. You can get wild, let's say, smoked salmon in the morning. Free range grass-fed steaks. So we're really looking for the high quality proteins because it makes a big difference for the fatty acids, but also the types of amino acids that you'll be getting, and you're going to be getting less toxins. And then the second thing is that with fats, people are trying to avoid fat because they're trying to lose weight or whichever. But remember, one of the things we're after is stabilizing your blood sugar. And with proteins and with fats, when you eat them together, it actually causes a slowing of the digestion, thus a slower release of glucose into your bloodstream. So that means your blood sugar is going to be nice and level, maybe slightly rising, versus if you just eat, let's say, cereal in the morning with non-fat milk, your blood sugar is just going to skyrocket, and then in an hour or two it's going to crash. That's when you start noticing symptoms of low energy, wanting to take a nap, or you can't focus and concentrate at work or school. So it's very, very important to actually add that fat in there, because it, again, slows that release of blood sugar. But also the other thing too, if one of your goals is weight loss, is that it continues to keep that blood sugar level, and it satiates you. So you have a feeling of being satisfied and full versus eating, a box of Wheaties, whole box of Wheaties, and then being hungry in an hour. So that's why fat is so important. And again, high quality fats are important. So organic coconut oil if you're going to cook some eggs, organic olive oil. I believe even in lard. Your grandma was right when she used to collect the lard from the bacon and put it in a little jar and reuse it to cook things, because lard is very, very stable when you heat it, so it doesn't go rancid. And 2, if you look at the work of Mary Innig of Know Your Fats, over 50% of lard is actually monounsaturated fat. Yes, it does have some saturated fat, but over 50% is monounsaturated fat. So it's a very good fat. It's a healthy fat, as long as, again, coming from an organic bacon, a clean source. And then the last thing is carbohydrates. You got to be very careful with the carbohydrates you eat. So for example, you've got to be careful with the fast digesting carbohydrates like the cereals, even organic cereals, because once they extrude the wheat and the corn or the rice, by the time it gets to your mouth, it may have been a whole grain, which they market to be a whole grain, but by the time you eat it, it's going to cause your blood sugar to skyrocket, crash, and then you're going to be symptomatic of having low blood sugar. So you want to avoid those fast digesting carbs like cereals, for sure, breads, waffles, pancakes. Those are highly processed carbohydrates that, again, will cause your blood sugar to go up and then down. So what do you eat in terms of carbohydrates? My first choice would be vegetables. That's always easy to do. You mix it up with scrambled eggs or an omelet. You mix it up with some organic sausages. That's always easy to do. If that's too hard to stomach in the morning, then that's when I allow people to have some fruit. At least you're having some fiber with the fruit with a little bit of blood sugar, but you're also going to be able to add that with a protein. So you add that to an egg omelet, or you add that to ham slices, or a breakfast ham, or you have some smoked salmon. So those are the ideal foods. So remember, you want to first add protein first thing in the morning, add some fat, in the form of organic coconut oil, olive oil. Again, use some lard. You can always use avocados, nuts, and seeds. Mixed in is fine. And then again, vegetables are your first choice, and then fruit would be your second, and then you want to maybe go with some grains. But again, if you establish that breakfast first thing in the morning, I guarantee you're going to notice, 1, an increase in energy, 2, better focus and concentration, and you're just going to have more of an upbeat feeling all throughout the day once you establish that breakfast. So don't underestimate breakfast, and go ahead and eat breakfast with those optimal foods.
Check it out now.